Care to share with the class?
Dan Le Batard.
Trying to come up with top 5 athletes that connote magic.
All right, so I'm gonna let people see what's been happening here because I need the audience. I need the audience to understand what was happening, what the talent I work with on Tuesday. You want to talk about magic. What we do on Tuesdays is magic. If you saw it, if you just heard it privately, trying to huff and puff and get off the ground. Stugotz has been trying for 3 segments to have top 5 athletes who connote magic. His list sucks. All he had was Art Shell, and he's like, I need help, Cody. And so Cody was useless. For 3 segments, they've been going back and forth, and finally Stugotz says to me, Dan, I'll have it for you tomorrow. I can't get it to you today. It's too hard. 5 athletes who connote magic.
Not magic, a magic trick.
Yeah.
That is much more difficult.
Okay,
I am telling you.
All right, I don't doubt that, but if you had heard what was happening, grumbled under the wheezing, coughing of Cody, it's Dan Le Batard.
Yeah, we were workshopping.
You weren't workshopping anything. It was just you were workshopping. The 2 of you were just like, you know how you go to
Scott Hatterberg.
You go to a Sunday.
Pokey Reese.
A hat.
Frank Legerdemain.
He disappeared.
You know how you go to let's say you go to a Sunday brunch and at the highest, at the table where they're cutting up the prime rib. What I get on Tuesdays is Cody and Stugotz just cutting up a giant pile of camel. Just slicing it.
How would you like your
Cuban guy
shit? Well
sold it to you,
done?
huh?
Medium rare?
It's the magic trick of Tuesdays.
Al Abracadabra.
Oh, wow.
That's a good one. Not a trick, though.
Nice.
A lot of football still going on.
Brad Hand.
There you go.
Sleight of hand.
Frank Hocus
Great
Pocus.
when you have to follow it up with an explanation.
You stepped all over his Frank Hocus Pocus show.
Yeah.
Really.
Do it
Frankie
again.
That's a
Hocus.
damn
Yeah.
shame.
Bill Occult.
Ross Taro.
Ooh, I like that. Now you're thinking.
Now
He's on board.
Now
He's
we're playing the
workshopping
game,
with
boys.
us. Workshopping it.
Do me a favor here, please, because I want to escalate the flames as high as they go on this Saquon Barkley Tiki Barber beef, which is one of the dumbest. If we're talking about the apocalypse, the earth ending, and AI consuming us, this one is the greatest. Running back from 20 years ago gets into it says, you're dead to me to Saquon Barkley. Barkley says, you've been a hater since I got here. He's like, what are you talking about? I've never said anything but nice things about you. But what's happening with Saquon is just this. My position used to matter. I've used my legs all my life to get a lot of money. They don't want me in New York. It's terrible that I got J-Ball fired and Daniel Jones can't play. Put me behind Jalen Hurts, that great Dominican quarterback, and I will tush-push my way to where the Kelseys are because it's hard playing football for the New York football Giants. But if you want someone who understands how unreasonable it is to work at that position in New York, Tiki Barber is one of the few in the world who can tell you that if you don't produce at that position in that city, you'll get Don LaGreca doing something like this to an offensive lineman from this year who was blocking for Saquon Barkley, who now goes to Philadelphia where he can run behind Lane Johnson in his underwear.
They're having technical issues.
Issues.
Technical FUs?
Okay.
Is that a Freudian slip?
They've got me Lane Johnson
They got
back
Lane
in his
Johnson.
underwear.
Yeah, there you go.
But they did. That was a technical FU from the video staff.
I meant that how I said it.
Zay Flowers.
Oh, wow.
That's a good one.
That's great. Yeah.
It's going to have to wait till tomorrow. You're going to have to wait till tomorrow.
The NFL news. It never stops. Dan, Tom Pelissero. Still doing it, huh? He has Joe Mixon signing with the Texans. How about that?
So there's
The rich get richer.
we may need some clarification on this because the report was that Joe Mixon was released, but now there are people whispering that this might actually be a trade between the Bengals and the Texans.
It may be, but I want that Don LaGreca sound of what it is like to be a running back who doesn't produce for an offensive lineman who doesn't produce, who gets the rabid rage of the bearded and acidic LaGreca.
The person that's commenting on my performance, what does he do? Flip hot dogs and hamburgers somewhere? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'd cut his ass. I would. How dare you? How dare you? These people pay your salary. They pay an obnoxious amount of money to park, an obnoxious amount of money for PSLs to sit there and watch this pap, and you call them hamburger flippers? What, you're so much better? I'd rather have a guy that's flipping hamburgers block than your piece of garbage ass. Who the hell are you to talk to fans like that? You piece of garbage. I hate when players do that. You're not above us. What, because you happen to play a sport? You make them, you're better than me? You're better than the people that pay your salary? These Giant fans were here before you, and they'll be here after your sorry ass is cut. What a piece of human trash. And I don't want to hear some apology. I don't want to hear, oh, I was taken out of context. I didn't mean, I don't want to hear, done. I would cut his fat ass. Oh, if I'm John Mara, I call him into the office and say,
I wouldn't.
You were a first-round pick, but you're not worth anything. You don't talk to our fans that way. You don't talk to me that way. You are out of a job.
You
should boo him. If you see him in the mall of Willowbrook, boo his ass. If you see him on the DMV, boo him. Don't stop booing him. If he goes to the Pro Bowl, boo him. If he wins a Super Bowl, boo his sorry ass. Screw that guy. I mean, that angers me. We're not nobody. Flipping, but how do you condescend to people that pay to watch you play? Poorly, I might add.
Really bad.
Oh, I hate players like that.
I thought it was going to end.
Them.
I was going to say.
Totally reasonable.
New York Drive Time Radio, man.
Nothing like it.
That
the NFL news, it never stops, Dan. Jordan Schultz from the Bleacher Report is reporting Jameis Winston to the Browns.
Little back up. Everyone watch Mike's reaction here.
Mike? Hey, I mean, this does fill a need. They are losing a quarterback that throws about 5 interceptions a game. Replacing him with one of those.
Jameis.
Naheem Hines, too. Not that I'm paying attention.
I'd love for you.
Back from a jet ski injury, by the way.
Is Flacco just out there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Patriots, maybe.
Some team's going to win the lottery.
nobody wants to play for the Patriots.
Oh, Flacco will play anywhere.
I don't think so. No one wants to play for the Patriots.
Jameis to the Patriots would have been great, right, Greg?
Yeah.
Who do they have now that Mac is gone? Do they have anybody?
An improved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.
Yesterday on the show, Stugotz, I believe we had one of the most disrespectful, blasphemous things said toward me, about me, on the show by people who work with us. During the 7-hour Oscar extravaganza, and I will thank the audience again for making that a giant success. I will thank Ben Lyons, Adnan Virk, David Sampson, and a cast of a whole lot of people here who on Sunday just rose up because we wanted to try a different thing and produced something.
I'm Jeffrey Lyons, Ben's dad.
That was really fun and magical. If you don't even like the Oscars, you enjoyed the second screen experience of Adnan Virk and David Sampson, knowing a lot about the movies, knowing a lot about the categories, and our show bouncing off of them. But during that, I very lovingly brought popcorn. A few of you, I think Mike Ryan's the only one to have had the popcorn before Sunday, or have any of you others ever had the very proud Le Batard recipe gourmet popcorn? Or is Mike Ryan the only one to have ever had it around here?
It makes me think about the pandemic and a lot of people, because today's the day after. It's the 4-year anniversary of George Sedano calling for the indefinite suspension of Rudy Gobert. A lot of people are getting all nostalgic about the lockdown. And, yeah, that's one of the lockdown memories that I have, is having the popcorn, which I thought was very good.
But Lucy tried it and said it's weird, and then ate 3 buckets of it. And yesterday on the show, Jessica and others, I believe, alleged that the popcorn wasn't actually that good. And so I had no one here to defend it because Billy hadn't been here, Stugotz hadn't been here, and it seemed like Jessica.
Is that why you texted us on the side to defend the popcorn's honor? Because you get weird when it comes to this popcorn. Here's a prime example of how Dan gets emotional when it comes to his popcorn. His honest-to-God visceral reaction to Lucy's initial criticism was, it tastes a little weird. He just fires back, "You're weird. You're weird."
You're weird not to like my popcorn.
And she is. And I wish, looking back on it, I hadn't. I wish I had said "You're weird, Iowa," instead of saying her whole name.
I mean, if there's something that Iowa people know, it's corn.
I'm not saying this because Dan texted
Wait
me
a minute.
to say
But
this,
wait a minute.
But
No,
I
no,
enjoyed
no,
the
no.
popcorn.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm gonna look at what I texted you all.
It's the best popcorn
This
I've
popcorn
ever
is
had.
so delicious.
Many are saying
ridiculous.
So much
it's
time
the greatest
and
popcorn.
hard work was put into this popcorn. I
wanna try
love.
it.
what
Okay,
is it?
so it's
I
right
love it.
here, but it's
Hints
stale.
of coconut
It's
and
2
stale.
days old, man.
It's 2 days old, Greg.
Yeah.
So I think it's stale. But I just want, for the record,
You could probably sell that.
I like
because
stale popcorn.
because
I'll buy it from you right now.
Many people have offered to buy this popcorn recipe from the Le Batard family,
Patent
but
pending.
they would never sell it. Lucky for us.
being misrepresented here is trying to taint the
Do
jury.
you need a
pool.
lawyer, Dan? I can step in for you if you need one.
What I wrote to Tony, Mike, and Chris Cody yesterday is the popcorn was blasphemed and disrespected today, so stake your positions.
I am
wow.
also here to tell you that
No
that
pressure
is in
there.
no way a threat coming from one of the co-founders of the company.
It wasn't a threat. I want honest appraisals of what the
Your
popcorn
job
was.
is not on the line, but reviews are coming.
If
next week.
anyone's job was ever on the line around here, a whole lot of people would have been fired long before now.
That feels very threatening.
I thought the popcorn
I
was
mean, you
great.
realize how this
Yeah,
is
I
coming
thought the
off.
popcorn was
I
awesome.
like the popcorn, but things are subjective. It's okay if people don't like your popcorn. Dan, you are so confident in your tremendous popcorn. You don't have to worry about it. Not every single person is gonna like
It only matters if you
everything.
like it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Everybody has different tastes.
Yep. Greg, what do you think?
Greg Cody has now eaten the 2-day-old stale popcorn that has been on the desk here. And what Greg Cody's not afraid of me. He's not afraid of my threats. My threats are
Be careful,
empty
you're
and
kind of on the chopping
blustery.
block.
He's afraid of AI.
Yes, I am. It's actually for stale popcorn. It's tasty. What's the
popcorn.
secret recipe?
No, I'm not giving that
Okay,
up.
I don't find like it's that difficult to make great popcorn if we're being honest.
Huh.
And I don't mean that as a criticism. I'm sure yours is above
I'll do a
average.
pop. I'll do a
Tread
popcorn.
lightly.
I'll do a
A pop
popcorn
off.
off with
let's
you.
do it.
I'll do.
You
wanna
really had to drag that one out of him.
I'll do it.
I mean, I'm ready. I lost to Bellamy, who made a turkey.
Oh yeah,
that,
you guys turked each other
a
off that
delightful-
one time.
yeah.
Right.
Turn off.
I'm on the comeback trail.
Can't wait to see you two popping each other.
Yo.
Pop off.
I have in front of me, and I don't think this is a good idea. It wasn't well executed the last time we tried it, Stugotz. They now have gone to artificial intelligence and actually produced a back in my day using whether it's Chat GPT or one of the artificial intelligences. But when we've tried this before, it hasn't worked. It's not as good as the lazy one that Greg Cody doesn't do every week.
Thank you.
The artificial
Free agency.
artificial intelligence hasn't gotten any better over the last 2 months.
Oh yes, it has.
From what I'm looking at here.
Oh really? Because whenever we ask it to write a back in my day, that's all data. It is learning from its previous mistakes. So the more that you ask it to make these back in my days, the better it's going to be.
Do you want me to try and read some of this? Because
Let's have you make your popcorn, Greg make his popcorn,
AI.
and AI make a popcorn.
I like that.
Wow.
Dan, is your popcorn base like? Is it just corn you put in a thing, or do you like old Oracle?
I use
Redenbacher?
abuela's cazuela, and that's the only thing I'm giving you
Really?
guys.
Where do you
And-
get the corn from?
And I'm not giving you any more information.
Oh.
It's a
Look,
secret
it's just-
ingredient.
It's just us talking now.
No,
It's an
I don't trust
interesting
you guys.
It's just
Remember
us.
when I said-
You're weird.
It's interesting.
Coconut oil. Right?
Still eating it,
Put
huh?
some coconut
Not
oil.
bad.
in that.
The world before AI, you ask?
Well, shouldn't we give it the whole
Right, the whole-
treatment?
the
Let's
open,
have Greg
everything.
read it because,
You're reading
of
it?
course, I can tell it's not a Greg back in
It's
my day
you,
if it's
yeah.
you reading it.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and give me the music.
And now it is time to take a trip down memory lane. Here's your guy, Greg Cody, with Back in My Day.
I'm only giving you half of it because I don't think you're going to last the entire one here. I don't think we're going to make it to the end
He's
of
a
this
morning man.
without bailing on it. Thank you.
AI! The world before AI, you ask. Let me tell you, it was different. A different time, different era altogether. Back then, we had to rely on our own wit, hard work, and a hefty dose of luck to get by. There were no virtual assistants to schedule our days, no algorithms to predict what we'd like to eat for dinner or what movie we'd enjoy on a Friday night. We actually had to talk to people, face to face. Can you imagine? And books, oh, we read those made of real paper. We turned pages, not swiped screens. I remember when a calculator was the fanciest piece of technology in a classroom. If you wanted to know something, you had to look it up in an encyclopedia. No, not online, in a real book. Sometimes in volumes so heavy, you needed 2 hands to lift them. And we were better for it, I tell you.
Hold on a minute.
Hold up.
Good
Sorry.
work, Chris
I mean,
Cody.
it's the same pod.
The NFL news,
That's
it never
not
stops.
disrespectful to your dad at all,
We'll
Chris.
get back to you, Greg, but Adam Schefter is reporting Shaq Barrett, 1-year deal with the Dolphins, $9 million.
Good deal.
Yeah.
All right. a lot of
19
money.
and a half sacks 1 year. Back to you, Greg.
We remembered things. Our brains were sharper, filled with all sorts of facts.
Chris,
Not
it
like
needs
the
music. Hold on, Chris. It needs music. You shit
Put it
yourself.
up, put it up.
I have to restart that bet, so just go ahead, Dad.
I love Mike
No.
watching him and laughing.
No, Chris. No. It
got it,
needs
Chris.
music.
You got
With
it.
back
There
in my
it
day.
is.
You got to start over?
hell no.
No, please.
Not like the sieve-like minds of today that forget information as soon as the screen goes black. Socializing, too, was a whole different ballgame. If you wanted to see a friend, you didn't send a text. You walked over to their house and knocked on their door. Surprised them even. Conversations happened in person over a cup of coffee, not through the cold, emotionless text on a screen. And we had to navigate the city using maps, actual printed maps, mind you. Getting lost was part of the adventure, not something to be avoided at all costs with real-time GPS tracking and work. We did that with our hands and minds, not by telling a machine what to do and watching it execute tasks flawlessly, making human error seem like a quaint,
It really doesn't work.
old-fashioned
It really
concept.
doesn't work. He can't be replaced yet by the
that concludes
computers.
back in my
It
day.
doesn't work. It doesn't work. You need a couple of jokes.
I'm Greg Robot, and that's how it was back in my day.
That's funny.
That's what needs a human touch. And I'm Greg Robot is what you need. When you don't have a top 5 list of athlete names who connote magic, but you
Magic
can go
tricks.
but you can go to the Greg Robot. When you got that in your holster at any point, I'm Greg Robot.
There's what I was looking for. All right, nailed it.
Excellent timing. I am scared to ask a room full of sausage the following question. Shannon Sharp on Russell Wilson. He was talking to Stephen A. Smith, and he says, quote, he's on the market. No matter how fine a chick is, no matter how many Birkin bags or Chanel purses she has, if she's on the market, what does that tell you? And Stephen A. Smith were talking about that with Shannon Sharp, and I couldn't help but laugh at the fact that I think, pretty sure, that Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith are both single. And I think, I'm pretty sure Shannon Sharp has a whole lot of good bags.
I don't understand what's happening because Russell Wilson did sign with the Steelers.
Right.
But he was just talking about the
Why is he
indictment. He was
available?
talking about the indictment
Okay.
of Russell Wilson. It was a couple of days ago. He was talking about the indictment of Russell Wilson as a quarterback because
We have video of it apparently, so we can have Shannon speak for himself. Oh wait, is that that's a different
another
show?
Yeah.
Sorry
It's
about
just
that.
Speak now.
is it?
Yeah, Joy hosts.
You all right?
What's going
What's
on?
going on
Why
here?
are we laughing?
It's just speak
yeah,
now.
it's just called Speak with an exclamation mark.
Yeah, speak.
I think.
Better speak.
It's Al Pacino. Why Al Pacino really just limped into Oppenheimer too? That's a perfect time to turn. Speak.
Apparently, he didn't make a mistake.
No, he says that that's what the producers wanted. But, I mean, a lot of people were getting off the joke. It was funny, right? If you're 83 years old and have a baby running around, you can't be trusted to speak in front of people. You're tired, no matter how much help you've got. 83.
I owe Joy an apology. There's no exclamation mark. It's just speak.
Speak.
Get Up used to have an exclamation mark, and then it removed the exclamation mark.
Who got the exclamation point? Where is it now? Does Fox have it? Or
I
does
think
ESPN
E still
have
has it.
E?
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah.
owns it.
He
Yeah,
does
he
have
owns it.
Yeah.
He owns it.
He owns the
Yeah.
exclamation. Yeah.
Now it's just get up.
Get up. No urgency, though.
Who has the so wait a minute.
Who
Get
won?
Up.
E.
Who won?
Get Up. Get Up had
Also, have
the-
you noticed that the Miami Heat, whenever they have their press releases, Heat is always all caps.
I know, I hate
the
that.
way that they pronounce it. So it's the Miami Heat.
Why do you hate that?
It's just because it's illogical. It doesn't make any sense.
Get Up had an exclamation point. Where did it go?
E.
I know sports are changing fast. The world is changing fast. It's not just artificial intelligence. We are talking about silly things all the time as the skies fill with fire. But are sports moving so fast that Mookie Betts can become a shortstop? And my analysis, without having read any of that, because one of the most amazing things of my baseball lifetime is that Craig Biggio could play catcher and second base. That Mookie Betts could be so great at baseball that he could be second base, outfield, or shortstop. Is that because Mookie Betts is just that great? Or has the sport changed so much and the Dodgers have so much firepower on offense that it doesn't matter who their shortstop is because everyone's trying to hit the ball over the fence and Mookie Betts will be good enough? Like, I have not read a word about this. I simply didn't understand how Mookie Betts can be a shortstop when I imagine that to be a very difficult position to play. It's the last one on the field outside of catcher that I would want to play.
Now, I'm wading back into baseball waters this year, but the last time I paid attention to it, I'm pretty sure Mookie Betts came up, man in the hot corner. Yeah. He was a third baseman.
He was a third baseman, yeah.
Right.
Seeing he
So
was
he
a
had some
short,
experience.
and he was a shortstop in high school,
I mean, that was wild.
as most major leaguers probably were.
Yeah.
Right.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Le Batard Show. Were most major leaguers the shortstop in high school?
Crucky was not.
I'm surprised we don't see more of that, honestly, because athleticism is athleticism. It's like the Marlins say, hey, Jazz Chisholm, you're fast, you're athletic. Play center field. You'll do fine. We'll instruct you. You'll have a spring training to learn it. You're a center
So
fielder
you guys
now.
are unaffected by this. So one of the best baseball players we've ever seen is just flip-flopping around hardest positions on the diamond, and you guys are just shrug your shoulders on it?
I'm not unaffected by it because I looked at their lineup and I recognize a lot of names, which is pretty concerning for the rest of Major League Baseball if I know all these guys. But no, of what I do know Mookie Betts quite a bit, and I'm familiar with his game, and I don't. While I know it's a very difficult position to play, and you mentioned Jazz Chisholm, that's still not without its growing pains. I'm more interested in Dave Roberts' explanation of it, which is it's a permanent for now move. Yeah. Never really heard something referred to as that.
But fair to say this would be a bigger story in July?
I mean, it is March. We could use this now.
No, we have NFL free agency. I mean,
Winners and losers, which we have not gotten to yet. Stugotz, are
In
we
July, he would be switching position in the middle of a season. Which would be
yes,
odd.
but I would just start paying attention to baseball in July.
Would be
and
a
then
big story,
right,
too,
Right.
middle of the
Imagine
season.
You turn on the TV the
Stugotz.
first time, the Dodgers are playing, there's Mookie at shortstop.
Yeah,
You're-
but then training
you're
camps-
not paying-
NFL training camps are opening.
You're not paying any attention
To baseball?
Hot dog eating
any
contest
baseball.
also.
I saw you play the other day.
Free agency.
Who that is, and you didn't know that the Rangers had won the World Series.
Huh.
You're not going to pay any attention to baseball.
Nope.
You're done with baseball. The Mets spend all the money in the world, and it hasn't gotten your attention in baseball. You're finished. You should
They
just
spent all the money in the world and they've lost.
You should announce that you're done with baseball.
No,
you
I'm
should
not going to make that announcement.
You should
yet.
have a press
Check back in
conference.
67 games into the Mets season.
But you've
I'll let
already
you know.
already checked out on baseball.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
You
It's
don't-
football season.
Well, let's get to winners and losers. You have yesterday. This is the last 24 hours. Is any of this subject to change, or these are final determinations? You have not been this excited about anything in sports in a while, since Joe Mauer made it into the Hall of Fame.
These are the top 5 winners and losers from day one of free agency. It was the first ballot part of it that upset me. Okay? I mean, he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's not. Joe Mauer, 0 for 10 in playoff games. I mean, the 4th best player on a team where he won the MVP. Michael Kadire had a better season. Mauer.
Is Kirk Cousins a Hall of Famer? Is he a $330 million
Well-
player? He's won one playoff game.
I mean, Greg thinks he's a Hall of Famer
It's
based on the
ridiculous.
numbers. Billy thinks he's a
Asinine.
first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, falsehoods.
Asinine, both of you.
Pre-injury.
Asinine.
I'm extrapolating the 5 good years he has left.
Truly asinine, assuming that there will be 4 more good
Coming
years
off an Achilles tear,
in Atlanta.
7
That's
weeks
right.
ago.
That's right. Just unbelievable that guy with 1 playoff win would be able to suck at the teat of what the billions are the NFL produces to be. It's a hard position to play, and he plays it mediocrely well. He plays it mediocrely well.
Yep.
Nice word.
Do you have losers or winners first?
I want you to go winners, losers, winners, losers. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
right.
number 5 winner is
WFAN. For getting a week's worth of conversation in early March where they get to rip Saquon Barkley for being a traitor.
It is fairly amazing that adults are doing this, or is it not? Dead to me as an insult.
That Tiki's doing
in
it.
2024. You're dead to me. You're like you're dead to me. What is that?
And you got to hit him with
What is that?
Sopranos.
What is that?
Tony Soprano.
What is that as an insult? In 2024, you're dead to me from another adult for going to the Eagles. Loser number 5.
The listeners of WFAN. For having to endure that insane conversation for an entire week.
But it always hooks you in, though.
Oh, it does.
Conversation
listen for an hour.
you would love to be taking part in.
Yeah, taking calls.
Number 4 winner.
Running backs.
Yeah.
Because some teams still think running backs have value.
Unless you've co-hosted God Bless Football occasionally, then
You're laughing in the face of Eckler.
That's all right. He gets it.
Does
East
he?
Coast now, though.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's big for you.
Yes, very big. Maybe I'll actually see him. I'll go meet him one time.
Number 4.
All the teams that sign running backs to big contracts thinking they still have value.
Okay, this is confusing.
I'm looking at you, Chicago.
So it's everyone. That's the number 4 loser is the same as the number 4 winner. This is okay.
yeah,
Is this
perhaps,
It's a good theme. Number 3 winner.
Sam Darnold. Parlayed being a bust into the best job in sports, backup quarterback for $10 million a season.
I feel like I'm following this game. I bet I can guess the loser.
Huh.
Number 3 loser.
The Vikings. For signing Sam Darnold.
Wait a second.
It is. It's what happened yesterday. There's a whole lot of noise, and that's what happened yesterday. The Chiefs are still the champions. Number 2.
The Jets. For finally not winning the first day of free agency.
That's a number 2 winner. So the number 2 loser is
The Jets. For not winning the first day of free agency.
It's a good list.
Thank you.
It's a good list. The number 1 winner.
Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, the last time we saw him, he was losing a playoff game at home to Daniel Jones. He parlayed that and one playoff win into, and he's the greatest businessman in the history of the NFL, into a $180 million contract at the age of 36 off an Achilles tear because he tweeted out a picture of himself on a tennis court.
Chase Daniel would like a word.
Put it on the poll, please. Greatest businessman in the NFL,
Oh,
Jerry
Tim.
Jones or Kirk Cousins? And the number 1 loser in the NFL yesterday,
The Falcons.
that's $5.
For signing Kirk Cousins at 36 years of age off an Achilles, who was 1-4 in the playoffs and 0 forever in primetime games.
Atlanta didn't want Lamar Jackson and Bill Belichick. Just going to put that out there.
He's 36. What are the Falcons
Interviewed
doing?
Belichick
Just going to
twice.
put that out there. Didn't interview Belichick twice. No, don't need him. Let's get Kirk Cousins. Don't want Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, crazy.
That's a thing that happened in a professional football league worth billions of dollars.
So your quarterback is 40 coming off of an Achilles, and you're excited about
Oh, I
next
know.
season.
No, I know. I mean, but they're also number 2 on my losers.
Had a bigger
list.
cap number.
Right. I mean, the Jets are winners. I mean, just, hoping Aaron
T-Mobile
gets-
backing up Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
Tyrod.
like that. I mean,
Really?
Yeah. I don't
Why?
Think, I don't think Aaron likes that because T-Mobile is one of those guys, if he gets in there, he can give you 2 games and all of a sudden the fans are chanting, Tyrod, Tyrod. I don't like it. Yeah.
He needs bad support like Zach Wilson after Woody Johnson said we didn't have a backup quarterback all of last year. We're going to get one this year. That's the Jets' motto right there, by the way. We're going to win the backup quarterback. You watch. It's not going to be Zach Wilson anymore. You're going to complain about Tyrod Taylor next year when Aaron Rodgers gets injured on the first play.
Who was that guy that was terrible that went to Connecticut who was also terrible? Do you remember his name?
The guy that threw the Fail Mary?
The guy who played against the Dolphins late in the
who
season.
was that guy's name?
You know what? I was arguing. I remember the fisticuffs that nearly started. Was it Boyle? Was his name Boyle?
Tim Boyle?
Tim Boyle.
Yeah.
Because I remember having the argument, would Tim Boyle start for the University of Miami last season?
I remember Chris Cody being worried about the mystery of Tim Boyle.
Yes, that's right.
What a time.
It was good.
That was in November, by the
You
way.
were right to fear for the Dolphins. Everything collapsed after that. It just wouldn't be Tim Boyle to do it to you.
I'm not so sure. I'm still unsure about those dog legs, too.
Greg Cody's mad, I think, about what happened with the Dolphins today or in the last couple of days.
They got Shaq Barrett.
Well, I'm disappointed for Dolphins fans when you lose Christian Wilkins. I mean, you mentioned it earlier. I don't think you can overestimate his value to that defense coming off his best season.
I just don't get it.
Prime.
What's the point of rebuilding, hitting on your number one pick, and then getting rid of him immediately because you got to pay the quarterback? Like,
Right.
What's the point of that?
Well, it's not just the quarterback. They got to pay Jalen Waddle next year, Javon Holland. They just made the decision. If you look how the Dolphins spend money, they tend to do it on the skill position guys. They're just saying, like, I don't think they wanted to lose Christian Wilkins. It's just they got to do math, and they have to make some cuts. They have so much talent. The people want to criticize Chris Greer. There's a lot of people that need to get paid on this team right now, and they just made the business decision. And looking at what Wilkins got, like, I think the mistake was not paying him a year ago for like 21 or 22 million. 27 a mil is ridiculous.
No, this is what they were doing, and you can speak to this, Greg, like how it is the math of this works. They were negotiating all of last year, and the defensive tackle who took the money is the one who got the money. These guys are best friends. Like, if you were watching Hard Knocks, it was moving to see their relationships, and they made best friends choose between who wants the money. The undrafted guy who's a lovable story, who's doing a good job, who I believe is good because of what Wilkins does, because Wilkins is the first-round talent.
Yep.
Wilkins is the obvious run stuffer. He's not Aaron Donald, but what that dude did, what I saw him do, made that defense good. That guy gave you edge rush. That guy was caving in defense.
Yes. Yeah, I think Wilkins was their most valuable defender last year, particularly with Ramsey not playing the entire season. And it's just that when you look league-wide, the biggest losses in free agency, considering the top free agent overall was Chris Jones, who the Chiefs were able to re-sign. The biggest loss of any team in free agency right now is Christian Wilkins, for me.
The biggest one.
Yeah. Yeah. Name a bigger one.
This is the new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show
Yep.
with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.